So this is May, June 2025, right? The graph below shows the straight line PQ. So we have a graph showing us the line PQ. First question is find the gradient of PQ. How are we going to do that? So the first thing we need to do is get the coordinates of each other, right? So what is the coordinates of P here? What is the coordinates of P?
-2, -3.
-2, -3, right? So let me write that in space here. So the coordinates of P is -2, -3, and then we need to get the coordinates of Q. Coordinates of Q is you always go with the X first.
3.
So it's 3, 7. So Q is 3, 7. Right? To find the gradient of a line, the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when you have your coordinates, you name them. So you can name this x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 take away y1, so that is 7, take away -3 over x2 take away x1, 3, take away -2. 7 take away -3, this will become a plus, so that is 10 over 3 take away -2, that will become a plus, so that will be 5. So the gradient there is 2. Right, those who were in class yesterday, you all get that? Write down the equation of the line through PQ in the form y is equal to mx plus c. Right, so we just calculated what is m, and c is what? C is your y-intercept. So you go on the line and we look at to see where this line cut in the y-axis. It cut in the y-axis at 1. So c is equal to 1. Right, so the equation of the line is y is equal to 2x plus 1. Right, 2 is your gradient, 1 is your y-intercept. Function part of the question now. We have two functions, f and g, defined as fx is x squared minus 1, g of x is 3x plus 2, find g of -6. So g of -6, that means we're going to plug in -6 wherever we see x is on the g function, right? So that is 3, open bracket, -6 plus 2. Then -18 plus 2, so how much is that? -16. Inverse function g inverse x. Right. So the first thing I have to say is let y equal to g of x. Right? So therefore we have y equal to 3x plus 2. Next step is to do what? Interchange x and y. So we interchange x and y, so here will become x, and here will become y. Then we have to make y the subject. Right, so to make y the subject, we have 3y on the side. So the first thing we require across is positive 2. When this go across, it become x minus 2. And then now we want y by itself, so we to get rid of this 3, we have to carry it across and divide. So x minus 2 divided by 3 is equal to y. And then the last step is to replace your y with the inverse symbol. So therefore the inverse here is going to be x minus 2 over 3. You don't have that? Alright, show that f of g of x is equal to 3, open bracket, 3x plus 1, x plus 1. Right, so we want to put f, we want to put g into f, right? So we want to find f of g. Where's g is again? 3x plus 2. So that will equal to, so the f function is x squared minus 1. So wherever we see x, we need to put this in the bracket, right? So this will become 3x plus 2 squared minus 1. Right? You replace the x in the f function with the g function. So then we need to square this out. This is double brackets, 3x plus 2 multiplied by itself. And we have minus 1 here. So to expand our brackets, first term by first term, 9x squared. First term by second term, 6x. Then second term by first term, 6x. Second term by second term, 4. Minus 1. So here now we end up with 9x squared plus 12x, 4 take away 1 is plus 3. Right, and what I have there? So the factoring out of 3, so let me factor out of 3. We factor out that 3, we remain with 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. And 1x there now. This is our quadratic expression. So we have to factorize this now. We have to get two numbers. Let me bring this on the side here. To factorize a quadratic, we have to get two numbers that multiply, giving me AC, so that is 3, and the same two numbers that when they add, they giving me B, which is 4. What two numbers is that? 1 and 3. And then we need to split this middle term. So they're throwing an algebra question here in functions. Right, so we split it up into 4 terms and then we do factorizing by grouping. The common factor here is x, so we take out the x, we would remain with 3x plus 1. You repeat this on this side. 1 missing here, plus 1. So from this we get x plus 1, 3x plus 1. Right, so when we finish factorize, that's what we end up with. So the final answer here will be 3, and then we put these terms as we have it, x plus 1 by 3x plus 1. And I would ask us to show. Hence shown. Right, so that was a lot of work for that 3 marks. And then the last part, hence solve f of g of x equal to 0. So to solve our equation, f of g of x is this equation here. So you put it equal to 0. So you put 3 open bracket x plus 1, 3x plus 1 equal to 0. So once you have terms equal to 0, what we will say now? We will say x plus 1 is equal to 0, or 3x plus 1 equal to 0. You put each factor term equal to 0. So therefore, x is equal to this plus 1 going across will become negative 1, or 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. You get 3x is equal to, when the plus 1 go across, minus 1. Then you divide, so you get negative 1 over 3. So x is equal to negative 1 or negative 2. Answer for this 24. A rectangle PQRS has a diagonal PR. Let me sketch that. Here's a rectangle. PQRS. I think P and I write an R. PQRS has a diagonal PR. A diagonal is this, right? We'll call it what a diagonal. Where P is the point negative 310. So this is negative 310. And R is 4, negative 4. Calculate the length of the line PR. Right, so the length of a line, you all know the formula for length of a line. I give you the sheet just now, right? X2 take away X1. So let me name them. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So X2 take away X1, 4, take away negative 3. Squared plus negative 4 take away 10 squared. Square root of 4 take away negative 3, 7. 7 sevens are 49. Negative 4 take away 10 is negative 14. Negative 14 squared is how much? 196. So then add 49 and 196 from here, correct? 245. And the square root of 245 is?
15.6.
15.6 units. Good. See, look, a nice easy 2 marks. You didn't get that? Okay, call out the 3. When you find the square root of 245, where's the answer? What do you call it from here? 15.65. So if you wanted the 3 significant figures, if it's 15.65, this 5 is 5 or more, so we need to add 1 to the 6, right? So it's 15.7. Right, part 2. Determine the equation of the line PR. 3 marks. How can we do this? Let me see what we have. We have 2 points. Right, so if we have 2 points and we want to get the equation of a line, first we need to calculate the gradient. The gradient is what again? Y2 take away Y1. Negative 4 take away 10. Over X2 take away X1. 4 take away negative 3. Like negative 14 over 7, which is negative 2. Right, so the gradient is negative 2. And we want to find the equation of the line. So remember, the equation of a line is y is equal to mx plus c. So we have the gradient, now we need to calculate what c is. So we would substitute any one of those points. So let me use negative 3 and 10. You substitute negative 3 and 10 and the gradient in y equal to mx plus c. So y is 10, m is the gradient, which is negative 2, x is negative 3, plus c. So here we have 10 is equal to negative 2 by negative 3 is positive 6. So then to guess c, we had to carry the 6 across and subtract. 10 take away 6 is equal to c, therefore c is equal to 4. Right, so now the equation of our line is y is equal to negative 2x, negative 2 is the gradient, plus 4, 4 is your y-intercept. So the functions part of the question here now, we have two functions, f and g, are defined as follows. F of x, 3x plus 1, g of x is x squared. Find in the simplest form an expression for f of x minus 2. So we want to substitute x minus 2 wherever we see x's in the f function. So that is 3, open bracket, x minus 2, close bracket, plus 1, and it's the simplest form, so we need to expand. 3 by x, 3x, 3 by x, 3x, 3 by negative 2 is negative 6, plus 1, 3x minus 5. Right, part 2, g of 3x plus 2 plus 10. So we want to substitute 3x plus 2 in the g function, alright? So this will equal to, the g function is what? X squared. So this will be 3x plus 2 squared plus 10. Right, so we need to square this out. So I'm going to do it the long way because all this can't remember the short way. We want to multiply it by itself, right? So first term by first term, 9x squared. First term by last term, 6x. Then second term by first term, 6x. Second term by second term, 4. I feel like we just do this. Any last question?
Yeah.
6 and 6 is 12x. 4 and 10 is 14. Right? That was 2024. Right. So May, June 2023. Question 4. Consider the functions f of x 3 over x plus 2, g of x 4x minus 5, h of x x squared plus 1. Ah, yeah, so you're supposed to do this full question. Oh. Right. For what value of x is f of x undefined? When a function is undefined, what we need to do? You have to get, what have to be 0? The underneath part, the denominator. So you put denominator equal to 0. And what is the denominator? X plus 2. So if x plus 2 is equal to 0, what x going to be? Right, good. Negative 2. Find the value of g of a quarter. Alright, next easy market. G of a quarter, we put in a quarter in the g function. So that is 4, open bracket, replacing x with a quarter. 4 by a quarter is 1. 1 take away 5 is negative 4. Next easy one mark. Next easy one again. Each are negative 3. Let me see who messed up that one. Let me know the answers for that one. Everybody get 10? Or they mess it up in class, so you know what to do now. Negative 3 squared plus 1. So the negative 3 had to be in brackets to square it to make sure I get rid of the negative sign. So that would be 9 plus 1, which is 10. If I was doing an exam and I open my paper and see a question like this, I would be so happy. F of 0. So this is a composite function with value substitution. What we have to work first here? What's the first part? So you always work the second part first, or the part where the number is closest to. So this is what we need to work first, right? So we need to find f of 0. So f of 0 would be what? What's the f function? 3 over x plus 2, so that would be 3 over 0 plus 2, which is 3 over 2, or 1.5, 1.5, whatever I want to do. And then this answer, now we want to put it into the first function, which is f. So we repeat it now, 3, and we replace x with 3 over 2 plus 2. And what was the answer? 6 over 7. Right, so this first part was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 easy marks. Right, an expression in its simplest form for g of h of x. So g of h of x, so you're going to put the h of x function into g. So what is the h of x function? It is x squared plus 1, x squared plus 1, and the g function is which one again? 4x take away 5. So that means we're going to put 4 wherever we have x, we're going to replace it with what we have in the bracket here. What does again? Take away 5, right? Right. We expand brackets. 4 by x squared is 4x squared. 4 by 1 is 4. Take away 5. 4x squared. 4 take away 5 is negative 1. Right, so part C, we find the inverse of g and then substitute a negative 2. 4x minus 5. Yeah, but let's just learn it. This is not hard to do. G of x is equal to 4x minus 5. So the first step, I'm not writing the steps again, right? First step is to let y equal to the function g. So y is equal to 4x minus 5. Next step is to interchange. So where y is, we put x. Where x is, we put y. Next step, make y the subject. So we will carry across this negative 5 first. Across, it will become plus 5. And then now we can get y by itself by dividing by 4.
I was thinking, right?
So therefore, the inverse function is x plus 5 over 4. Right? And then they say find the inverse with the value substitution of negative 2. So let me put that in now. Negative 2 plus 5 over 4, and that is 3/4. Right, question done. So we reach here, May, June 2022. So we have two functions, f of x, 5x plus 7, g of x, 3x minus 1. For the function given above, determine g of 3. What's the answer for that?
0.
0? So we would put 1/3 into the g function, so that is 3 by a third minus 1. 3 by a third is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. Good. Part 2, f inverse and negative 3. What was the final answer for that? 2? Alright, so first let me find the inverse. So let y equal to the function, so y equal to 5x plus 7. Interchange. X is equal to 5y plus 7. Make y the subject. Carry the 7 across. X minus 7 is equal to 5y. You divide by 5. These type of questions repeated over and over, just different numbers. You get accustomed to this one. So the inverse is x minus 7 over 5. And I asked to find f inverse of negative 3. That would be negative 3 minus 7 over 5. Negative 10 over 5 is negative 2. Part D. The line L is shown on the grid below. Write the equation of the line L in the form y equal to mx plus c. Right. 2 marks. So we need to get the gradient. Let me choose 2 points. Let me choose that point. Let me choose this point here. Right, so this coordinate here would be negative 3, 0. And this coordinate here would be 0 and 1. Right, we name them x1, y1, x2, y2. Gradient is given by y2 take away y1, 1 take away 0, over x2 take away x1, 0 take away negative 3. So that is 1 over 3. So the gradient is a third. And the y-intercept c is where it crosses the y-axis, so c is equal to 1. So therefore, the equation of your line is y is equal to 1/3 x plus 1. Right, what I need to do here is pick any 2 points. I pick this point and this point. We could have picked this point here. We could also pick this point here. And we'll still get the same answer, right? Right, what we have here? The equation of a different line Q is y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. Write down the coordinates of the point where Q crosses the x-axis. Right, so when a line, so we didn't do this in classes yet, right? When a line crosses the x-axis, let me look at what the x-axis is. This is the x-axis. When a line crosses the x-axis, we know the value of y is how much? When a line crosses the x-axis, what is the value of y? If I pick this point here, what is the value of y in that point there? 0. If I pick this point here, what is the value of y? 0. So anytime a line crosses the x-axis, y is going to be 0, right? So when it crosses the x-axis, y is equal to 0. So we substitute y is equal to 0 in this equation and solve for x. So therefore we have 0 is equal to minus 2x plus 8. That will give me x equal, bring this negative 2x across, so we become positive 2x is equal to 8. X is equal to 8 over 2, which is 4. Right, so they ask for coordinates. So the coordinates would be x is 4 and y is 0. Write down the coordinates of the point where Q crosses the y-axis. So if we have this equation here, y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. Where it crosses the y-axis? We have nothing to work out there. What is the value of x when it what is the value of x when it crosses the y-axis? 0. And what is the y value? 1. Is this equation here? Where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Which value here is the y-intercept? 8. So your coordinates there is 0, 8.
I say so.
On the grid on page 14, draw the graph of line Q. So we have 2 points, so we need to put in the 2 points and then draw the line. So the first point is 4, 0. Where is 4, 0? 4, 0 is here. And where's the next point? 0, 8. 0, 8 is up here. Right, so I need to take a rule and connect this, which I cannot do on this. Let's draw the line. Draw it. Alright. What point? Tell me the point it cut in the next line up. Where's the coordinates at that point? Where the two lines cut intersecting. X is 3, y is 2.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you sure? 3 and 2. Right, maybe I do that. Right, so you draw the line and then complete the statement below. According to the graph, the solution of the system of equation consistent L and Q. Right, so we didn't do this as yet in class as well. But according to the graph, whenever we want to find a solution of two equations, two things we could do. We could solve it simultaneously to do simultaneous equations. But once you have a graph, all you need to look at is where the two lines intersect. So the two lines intersect at this point here. Right? So what's the coordinates at that point? This is where the two lines intersect, right? So it's 3, 2. But I the answer. Alright, so last question now. So this is July 2021, question 4. Right, the diagram below shows two lines L1 and L2. The equation of the line L1 is x plus 2y equal to 10. The line L2 passes through the point 0, negative 5 and is perpendicular to L1. Express the equation of the line L1 in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So L1 is x plus 2y equal to 10. So if we want to express it in this form, what we need to do here? We need to make y the subject, right? So what we kind of cross first there? No, the 10 on the side already. The x, the carry across the x. So 2y is equal to minus x plus 10. We want to get y by itself, so we have to do this too. Move it across, so we divide by 2. So if you divide by 2, this will become minus a half x plus 5. Right? When you divide by 2, the 2 go underneath here, right? So that's a half, and 10 over 2 is 5. Yeah? You're just making y the subject. Just like when you're finding the inverse of a function, you're making y the subject, same thing we're doing here. Right, state the gradient of line L1. Who could give me an answer? Gradient of line L1. But nobody can give an answer. This is line L1. Which number represents the gradient? The m is the gradient. That is negative a half. Hence, determine the equation of line L2. So where's line L2? So this is the L2. So the part of this question, they told us that it was perpendicular to L1. So if the gradient of L1 is negative a half, what's going to be the gradient times that are perpendicular? The gradient is the negative reciprocal of each other, right? So if this is negative a half, it will be the reciprocal of a half, which is 2. And so this is negative, this one will be positive. So the gradient at line L2 would be 2. And then we go on the graph. L2 cutting the y-axis at negative 5, so C will be negative 5. Equation of that line is y is equal to 2x take away 5. Right? 2 is the gradient, negative 5 is the y-intercept. Right, we reach function part of the question. Means we put the 9 into the f function. 1/3 by 9 plus 4, and that is equal to 7. Find the value of fg of negative 3. So we find in g at negative 3 first, which is 3 by negative 3 over negative 3 plus 1. So all we did is we put the negative 3 into the g function here, right? So that will be negative 9 over negative 2, which is 9 over 2. So now with g at negative 3 is 9 over 2, so we put that into the first function, which is f. So now we find an f of 9 over 2. The f function is a third. Wherever we see x, we put in that value, 9 over 2 plus 4. A third of 9 over 2 is what? 3 over 2, 1.5 plus 4, so that is 5.5. So we get 5.5 for that. Right, and then the last question, determine the value of x, for which g of x is 5 over 2. So g of x is 3x over x plus 1, so we need to put 3x over x plus 1 equal to 5 over 2, and we need to solve for x. Anybody get an answer for x? Fractions on either side, algebraic fraction, what we need to do is cross multiply. So your denominator coming across on the numerator here, so we have 2 by 3x equal, we bring this denominator on top on across the equal side to the numerator, x plus 1. 2 by 3x is 6x, we expand this brackets, this is 5x plus 5, bring the 5x across, 6x take away 5x is x, equal to 5. And that was the last question. Right. So question 4, functions and coordinate geometry. If you all do revision, you all could get full 9 marks in this question. Full 9 marks. This is a 9-mark question, unless it comes with a difficult part like the first paper we did. Right, so next week we're going to